entitled Remote Sensing Assisted Delineation of Management Zones Considering Agronomy and Climate Information, a work done by Mohammad Rokhafrouz. Sorry if I'm not correctly saying the names, from the University of Technology in Tehran, Iran. So, Mohammad, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Thank you, Albert. Yes, you pronounced my name correctly. My name is Mohammad Rokhafrouz. Let me please share the screen.
Sorry, Arthur is already here. It's probably better to say him that he's going to be the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I had some calendar issues.
No problem.
Don't worry. So later will be your turn.
Okay, do you have my screen?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I would like to say thank you for providing this opportunity for me in order to present my work. As you mentioned, the title of our poster is Remote Sensing Assisted Delineation of Management Zones Considering Agronomy and Climate Information. This work was done by me, Mohammad Rokhafrouz, and along with me, I have my supervisors and advisors. From them, Ali Okkar, Human Latifi, and Tomasz Wojciechowski. In the first part, introduction, first I would like to define management zones. Management zones are defined as a subunit of an agricultural field, which each zone, consists homogeneous combination of yield limiting factors. So we can manage each zone differently in order to maximize the efficiency of farm inputs. So the purpose of this work is to generate management zones based on sentinel to satellite data for variable rate application. And our model is remote sensing based. It means that it only relies on remote sensing data. Then we have considering agronomy and climate information, due to frequent occurrence of drought in all around the world. Considering this information is an immutable matter. For example, we have severe spring drought in Poland in 2020. And also in some scholars believe that in terms of performance and cost, remote sensing data such as satellite data and UAV are more suitable for management zone delineation and variable rate application than other source of data such as electric conductivity and so on. And in order to validate and evaluate the final map, some statistical tests were performed using a yield data as reference data. In methodology part, first we have the input. The input is the Sentinel-2 level 2 data. Then we have the pre-processing of this data. The resampling and the subset of region of interest. And then we have to select the clear data in terms of cloud and cloud shadow. And for those selected ones, the NDVI indices were calculated, and using some criteria, we have to select proper data for our model. So the first criteria is the standard deviation of NDVI, which must be greater than 0.02, and the mean of NDVI must be between 0.3 and 0.78. Then for those dates, the NIR bands were extracted, and in the processing of those bands, first we normalize those data and then calculate the average of them. And then we have the segmentation and classification part. The first step is applying a median filter, and then again we have normalization. And the next step is calculating quantiles of 10%, 35%, 65%, and 90%. And using those quantiles, the final data can be classified. And the output of this model would be 5 classes management zone map. And in order to validate this map, some statistical tests such as Kruskal-Wallis edge test, paired sample t-tests, and Wilcoxon sign rank test were used. In dataset part, first we have reference data, the yield data in 2020. There are 8,520 samples in 50 hectare. The first figure shows the spatial distribution of yield data, which were collected using combine harvester. And beside it, we have the frequency of samples per Sentinel-2 pixels. And as you see, we have at least one sample in each pixel. And the next set of data is satellite data, I mean Sentinel-2 data. In this table, we have the dates of those, the selected, data, which we selected some criteria that I mentioned in methodology. This figure is a Sentinel-2 data scene, and the study area was located and depicted in this scene. And in fact, the study area is in Brody village in Poland. In result part, first we have the generated map, the delineated 5-class management zone map. In this map, the higher the number of class and the higher the number of class, the crop situation is better. So the best class is the class 5, and the worst one is class 1. The next figure is the box plot of those classes. You can see an upward trend in these box plots, and also the variation and the separability of classes. And the final result is the results of statistical tests. In order to interpret these values, we have to consider that the values must be lower than 0.05 p-value. So this matter shows the separability between classes. This is the goal of, the aim of generating management zones. The classes not only must be homogeneous, but also they must be separable. And in conclusion, our result showed that delineating management zones using satellite data in one growing season, incorporating agronomy and climate information, results in promising outcome. And also another benefit of this model is the simplicity of that, which can be used in farm management information systems, such as decision support systems. Finally, generating management zones in this way, we can generate the maps which for different purposes. For example, before fertilization times, during one growing season, we can generate these maps and prescribe fertilizer according management zone maps, which the matter which is impossible using other source of data. The data which is related to soil and yield and something like that. That's due to the continuity of real-time and continuity of remote sensing data. And finally, I would like to acknowledge Smart AgriHubs project for providing funds for this work. Thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Sorry. Thank you for your presentation. Let's open this time for questions. So well, anybody else? So the way in which you classify it's only by the data you obtain from the satellites. You don't include in your model, well, your model any other source from any sensor or any other source of information.
And no, in fact, this model only relies on remote sensing data. Also, in our paper, in this one, we have introduced three model. Two of them are remote sensing, and one of them is hybrid model, which we combine the data from different sources, such as topography data, data from soil, and also data from yield previous years. But our result shows that the remote sensing based model are better than, they work better than those hybrid models.
Oh, that's nice to know, because it seems that normally when more information you have, the better the model should be. It's the first idea that comes to my mind. Having more information, it seems to be better, but nice to know it. Thank you. Any other questions?
It's not my, of course, it's very far from my expertise, but I just didn't understood if you incorporate agronomic information, or you are suggesting that it could be a good strategy to do it in the future, because you mentioned that you are mentioning wheat phenological phases and climate information, namely drought. You incorporated this information.
Yes, in this regard, I have to say that considering one growing season, we believe that it's incorporating agronomy and climate, because in different years we have different and various yield data. Yes. So the matters such as drought affects our yield data. So we believe that working on a single year and generating management zones annually results in precise and homogeneous map, and it's more practical than considering multi-year data.
Yes, of course, and this gives you a better prediction and a better analysis of the trends. And okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Very good.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, Mohammed, for the presentation. My question is, if you can, the possibility to use remote sensing to evaluate the damage soils suffering from abiotic stress, drought, such as drought, salinity, and metal toxicity. If you are testing that, and the possibility of having good results, and then we can use soils suffering from abiotic stresses. Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't get your question. You mean using remote sensing data for monitoring drought and stress?
My question is the possibility to use remote sensing to evaluate the damages that have soils from drought and salinity, and evaluate the percentage or concentration of metals in soil, contaminated soil especially.
Got it. Yes, there are different and various remote sensing data can be used for different purposes. Yes, for this matter, I think there are some satellites such as Aster data, Aster satellite data, which you can specify contamination. Also, hyperspectral data, which contains a lot of spectral bands. But using multispectral data, I think it's not possible, and it can't result in precise data. The Sentinel-2 data are multispectral data. So for that purpose, I think we need to use other remote sensing data, such as hyperspectral ones and also Aster satellite data.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there's no more questions to Mohammad, thank you again for joining us and for presenting this nice work.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. So let's